Hello friend! Thank you so much for joining me for a potent practice. My name is Natalie Adele, and today we're going to get right into the lower back. We're going to unlock that area in your body. That part of our body holds a lot of tension. Think about it. It holds the weight of the rest of your body, the weight of the world, and emotionally it holds on to worry. We don't want any of that, right? So let's take some of the I Am Love oil. This is really nurturing and gentle. Take a few drops in the palm of the hands and rub the palms together. Generate a little bit of heat. Take 3 deep breaths with me. And then we're just going to give ourselves a little bit of a self-massage. You can use a little bit more oil if you'd like, on our lower back. So getting into the lower back area, really giving yourself some good rubs, getting into the side of the body, the sacrum, maybe pressing on the hip joint where the hip meets the lower back, maybe giving yourself a few fist pounds or light taps, depending on your sensitivity. But just bring awareness to that part of the body, introduce yourself, let him or her know that we're going to be working on that part of the body today. Really good. Awesome. Putting your oil aside, we're in easy seat here. You're going to bring your hands onto the fronts of your shins. We're going to do seated cat-cow combined with fire breath. Now, typically in seated cat-cow, the yogi will arch the neck, right? Chin to chest, chin up to sky. I want you to keep your chin and neck parallel to the ground. All we're moving is from here down. So it's going to look and sound like this. All right? So again, I'm holding onto the shins. In fact, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this a little bit better. Now you can go slowly and still do fire breath, right? Or you can go fast. We're going to go for about 30 more seconds. I'm going to go a little slower today. It's like you're riding a horse, right? Galloping on a horse. Rocking the pelvis forward and backwards. Releasing any tension in the neck or in the shoulders. A few more moments. And release. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Let's take a forward fold on the exhale and sort of shimmy the hips from side to side. I'm coming down onto my elbows for this one. Of course, you can certainly walk the arms out or come onto tented fingertips. I want you to really engage the upper body with the floor and press deeper so that you make a deeper connection with your hips and the earth. Let the head be heavy, but find space between your chin and your chest. Inhale brings you all the way back up to seated, and exhale back to the heart. Let's meet in tabletop, yogis. So meet me here in tabletop. We're gonna come into child's pose. Come into child's pose, walk the arms out in front of you, and shimmy over to the right and over to the left to release the lower back. Let's go ahead and walk the hands to about 2 o'clock. So my hands are over to the right off of my mat and 2 o'clock. I really want you to press the left hand into the mat to engage contact with the left hip. And let's take half embryo with the right hand. So reach the right arm around, relax the neck. Take it over to the other side. Walk the hands to 11 o'clock. Not 12:30, not 11:30, but 11. The right hand, heel of the hand presses into the mat, right? So look at my hips. What happens is I press my hips a little further down. I'm going to take half embryo on the left-hand side. Relax the head. Inhale brings you back. Fingertips are tented, look up. Exhale, palms down, forehead down. Inhale, tented fingertips, look up, little mini back bend. Exhale, down. So let's flow through child's pose into cobra. So make like a snake and stay low to the ground. You want to graze the chest on the earth. So I'm starting in child's pose. Inhale, look forward, shift forward, hands stay under the shoulders, cobra pose. Look up, exhale brings you right back, child. So let's flow through that. Inhale, cobra, full breath here. Exhale, child. Keep on going. Full breath. 2 more. And child. Inhale, find your tabletop here with me. So we're gonna come into tabletop, however, we're gonna cross our legs. Left leg crosses in front of the right. So your right knee is snuggled up behind your left knee. Bring the knees close together, open the feet wide. Come onto tented fingertips for me. So imagine you have cupcakes underneath your hands. You don't wanna smush them, right? If that's too much, then certainly come onto the palms. All right, so here we are on tented fingers. Let's do some cat-cow. Inhale, drop belly, open chest. Exhale, release. So this is a really nice way with crossing the legs to unlock the low back. It's also a really nice stretch for the IT band here. We're working on the first floor, the foundation of our body. A lot of root chakra, sacral chakra work happening here. So option to stay slow or go a little faster. Building up heat in the body. Now we're working on all 3 floors, right? First floor, second floor, third floor. So I just had lunch not that long ago, so it's probably not a good idea for me to be doing this. But if you have an empty stomach and you're not on your moon flow, try it. Otherwise, go slow. A few more moments. And release. Come down onto the palms if you were on tented fingers. Keep the legs here and start to rotate the hips around clockwise, going from 12 to 3 to 6 to 9. This is a pose I've really been enjoying lately, just to unlock my lower back and to unlock my hips, really connect to my femininity, connect to my roots, and just really be graceful and kind with yourself here. Don't feel awkward. Just notice what parts feel like a little difficult and unknown and unfamiliar, right? And we're just really bringing mind and light to those parts of our body. Switch directions. And release. Keep the knees crossed, curl the toes, lift the hips. Find your downward facing dog with the legs crossed. Hips stay lifted, heel of the hands stay pressing into the mat. Let's cross-reference the body here. Bring awareness to your right hand, cross it over diagonally to your right foot, creating space. Bring awareness to your left hand, awareness diagonally to the left foot, creating space in the body. Go ahead and uncross the legs, kind of shake it off, walk the dog. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, come back to tabletop. We're gonna come all the way onto our belly. You're gonna keep your hands right where they are, underneath the shoulders, and then take the feet wide off the mat. So I always like to lift the hips a little, come back down, untuck the toes. So the tops of my feet are on the ground, my kneecaps are locked and lifted. Cobra arms. Gaze is down. So my hands start underneath my shoulders, elbows by ribs. Now I'm gonna slide my hands a little further down the body. Inhale, exhale. Here we go, lift up, big breath in. So much deeper opening in the front of the body. Notice if this is you, right? Are you really tensing up in the shoulders? Notice I have a little micro bend in my elbows. Upper body's forward and up, lower body's forward and down. So you can stay here. Sometimes I like to explore some movement in the neck, making neck circles or looking over opposite shoulder. Another option here, yogis, you can bend one foot, bend the other foot, maybe the feet touch, and you look for the feet. Again, you know your limits here, okay? So these are all just options. The best one for you is the one you can breathe in. 2 more breaths. And slowly come down onto your belly and press back into child's pose. Inhale brings you back to tabletop. Let's cross the right leg in front of the left now. So the left knees nuzzle behind the right, widen the stance of the feet. This time, option to flip the fingertips behind you. This may not be accessible to you in your wrists, no problem. Keep them the way they were before. If you do have the fingertips flexed behind you and you're like anything like me and you hyperextend, just make sure to take a little micro bend in the elbows. Cat-cow. This time, inhale, cat pose. Exhale, cow. So the opposite breath than we typically are guided through, right? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So you guys know you can keep on going. You can go a little faster. You can really pump it up. Again, remembering I just had lunch not that long ago, so I'm not going to do that. Again, if you're on your moon flow, I don't recommend it. So just do what feels best for you. Release any grip in the jaw. Release any furrowing in the brow, and just breathe, unlocking the sacrum. One more moment here. Gently release the wrists if you had them that way. And we'll start to circle out the hips again. Starting with clockwise. Oh, I just love this one so much. Switch directions. Find fluidity in the upper body here. Don't act so serious in the upper body, right? The whole body is involved in this. The neck. And release. Curl the toes under, lift the hips, downward facing dog, crossing in the legs. And just notice how that feels different. Feet are still hip width apart, cross-reference the body. So press the right heel of the hand, the right sole of the foot. Press the left heel of the hand, the left sole of the foot. Move the neck, shake the head yes, shake the head no. Uncross the legs. Maybe walk your dog, looking under opposite shoulder. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, come back to tabletop. We're gonna find balancing table, right leg, left arm. So this may be enough for you guys, right? So if you notice that you're having a really hard time breathing, maybe just do the leg. If you can find your breath here, let's take it a little bit further and find a little back bend. So notice my back leg is parallel to the mat. I'm gonna find a 90 degree in that back leg. My foot is flexed. My extended arm, my gaze is forward. My extended arm flips. Now I shift the gaze. Where I look, I go, and I reach back and I grab either my foot, my shin, or my ankle. The gaze is back. Just like we did in boat pose in another series, I'm gonna kick. Now I'm gonna shift my eyes, my drishti, up, around, and forward, looking for that foot above my head. Find your breath. Kick. Kicking is the object of stretching. 2 more breaths. Whew. Slowly release. Try not to slingshot yourself out of the pose. And come back to tabletop. So maybe you take a child's pose here. Maybe you take a few rounds of cat-cow. My right wrist, bottom wrist, is really sore because I was really putting a lot of energy there. So I'm just gonna roll out that wrist and take some shoulder rolls. Choice is yours. Find your breath. We tend to really elevate our heart rate in that pose. I'm speaking for myself, because we tend to hold the breath. Right? We always hold that breath for the sake of the pose, right? So find your breath, then find your pose. Let's take it to the other side. Left leg, right arm. Maybe you stay here. Left leg is parallel. Bend the leg, flip the palm, look up. reach and grab. If you can't access the leg, get a strap and bring your strap around the ankle. Go ahead and kick. Look what that does to my shoulder. It opens it, right? Kick, kick. Then shift the gaze up and forward and look above you for that foot. Energetically lift out of that bottom shoulder. 2 more breaths. And release. Woo. Let's come back to child's or cat-cow or rolling out the wrists or a combination of all of those things. All right, guys, so we're gonna do one final pose before we do a quick pranayama. So this is called rabbit pose. It's a really nice release for the sacrum. I'm gonna come to kneeling. My knees are together, my feet are together, and I'm gonna come down onto my heels. My knees together, heels together. I'm gonna grab my heels, roll the shoulders down and back. I'm gonna tuck the chin to my chest. If you have a top knot, maybe move it a little lower down so it doesn't get in your way. And I'm gonna envelop into myself. So notice my chin tucks to my chest and everything else follows. Until the top of my head, the crown of my head touches the ground. Now, once the crown of your head is on the ground, your knees and forehead maintain contact, right? So you get down there, chin to chest. If there's space between your knees and your forehead, inch your knees closer to the forehead. And then maintain contact with the heels, lift your hips off the ground. Then I like to walk the knees in a little bit more. And there's your pose. Squeeze the heels together, draw the shoulders down the back, gather the belly in, big opening in the spine. Hard to breathe, I know, harder to talk. A few more breaths. Keep on pulling, lifting, pulling, lifting, pulling, lifting, pulling, lifting, and release. Woo! Let's roll out the shoulders. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, down. Inhale. Exhale. One more. We're gonna come onto our block and heron pose. If that pose is not accessible to you, you can either bring padding under the knees or just come into easy seat. It's gonna be similar to the seated cat-cow that we did before. So I'm on the block. There's a seal of my pelvic floor with the block, the element of earth. Bring my hands to my heels. I'm gonna inhale, shift the pelvis forward. Shift the pubic bone forward. Exhale, pull it back. Inhale, exhale. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see me a little bit better. And we're gonna combine it with fire breath. So, my neck stays still. And again, it's sort of like I'm riding a horse, right? Galloping on a horse. What you're doing here is you're maintaining contact with your perineum, your sex organs, your pelvic floor, your root, and really awakening that part of the body. We store a lot of creative energy here. Go a little faster. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach the arms up high, interlace fingertips above you. Sip in 3 more times. Hold, gather in your pelvic floor, sex organs, squeeze. Exhale, release. Rest the palms face up on the knees. Let's lift up off the block, and we're gonna come down onto our backs. Final pose is plow pose. If plow pose isn't in your practice, go ahead and come into a legs up the wall pose by bringing a block underneath you and your legs up to the sky. You can also certainly just do this against a wall. I'm gonna come into plow pose to really wind down the lower back, give it a good stretch. So bring the hands to the ground, legs overhead, and lift the legs behind you. So when I get into plow pose, I start with my hands on my low back, and I bend my knees, and I bring my knees into my armpits, and I breathe there. And I extend the legs long behind me, bring my knees kind of close to my forehead, and extend my arms long. Really, really nice opening in the lower back. Also a nice little inversion. And slowly release. Hug the knees into the chest, rock a little side to side. And we're ready for a nice little brief Shavasana. Don't skip Shavasana on me. Stay here with me. Extend the legs out long. You can always roll something up underneath the knees for even more support. Rock side to side. Maybe take a little bit more of the I Am Love, or if you have your dream spray, use that. And dive in deep for a nice brief, sweet resting pose. Take a deep breath in all the way into the lower back. Hold it at the top. Sip it a little more. Exhale, release. Arms overhead, knees into chest. Roll over to your side, fetal position. And keeping your eyes closed on your inhale, slowly press up to seated. Another breath. Bring your hands to heart center. Let's Om. Inhale. The power in me honors the power in you. Thank you so much for carving out some time. Namaste.